It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you all to Money 2020 Europe, here in its new home at the RAI in Amsterdam.
And our purpose, the way we developed it, is that we empower people to stay a step ahead in life and in business. Empower people to stay a step ahead in life and in business. Notice there's no mention of banking. There's no mention of financial affairs in this. Nothing at all. We know our place. We know that in the end, we cater for a secondary need, not for a primary need. And it's people who need to be empowered. They may need financial support. They may need a bank or any other institution that delivers that financial support. But that can't be your purpose. The purpose has to be beyond. But that purpose also goes beyond what we do on a daily basis, being, addressing financial needs, delivering payments, delivering loans. It also goes to the core of what we are and the role that we want to play in society. If you're purpose-driven, you really build together a sustainable society as well.
On the front end of things, I'm equally a bit frustrated with my colleagues because they spend a lot of time reinventing round things with holes in them. And the wheel was invented a long time ago and we don't need to reinvent it. There's a huge amount you can do with the basic transactional data, the small rich data that we have. And I get frustrated with them because we don't make the most of that, because there's a lot of things that banks have on their customers that no amount of big data and analytics can recreate. And we already have it. So to spend a huge amount of time, money, effort, and energy on stuff that we already know is frustrating for me, but it's also frustrating for our customers. So when we push what we call value-added messaging, so the sorts of things Ralph talked about, back to our customers to try and help them save time, save money, make their money work harder, which are all good things to do, if we haven't exploited to the absolute maximum everything we already have, and we do know, and we should know, and it's incontrovertibly true, to then fog sculpt something like that from big data and analytics and get it wrong drives our customers round the bend. So we can't afford to do that. And the problem with the big data and analytics community, no offense, is that they think being 30% right, and I mean really 30% right is really good. Frankly, I think that's really bad. We need to be 80% right, particularly when you know what your customers earn, spend, save, what credit they use, what all the little nuances and the changes those things are. If I push something to a customer, it's got to be 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, it's got to either be right or highly relevant to them in a way that they really think, that bank is really on my side. They're really trying to do the right thing for me.
We believe that the data belongs to you, to our clients, and we believe in a responsible use of data, which starts with that concept. But in the end, in the age we're living in which technology is opening up big opportunities for everyone, it's really an age of opportunity. Our purpose, BBVA's purpose, is to bring that age of opportunity to everyone. And we do that, of course, turning people into the digital age. We have now, we're crossing the tipping point pretty soon, in a couple of months, in which more than 50% of our clients are in digital. We're going to cross the mobile tipping point early next year. And so we're taking our customers digital. That's one aspect of bringing the age of opportunity to everyone, because the opportunities are in the digital age. But the bigger aspect is enhancing the value added that we provide. Moving from money and money infrastructure, having the money safe in the bank, enabling transactionality, to actually helping people in their life or in their business make better decisions with data. That's what we're doing. We're recognizing the data is yours, but making it work for you so that you have a better life, the life you want to live.
But money isn't going to disappear. And it shouldn't. It's just the deliberate act of taking something out of your back pocket. We still need to manage our money and juggle very complex financial lives. So in this world, it's going to be so important that we enable consumers to control their financial lives. Control what they spend, where they spend it, how their fridge spends money. Although I think it might be slightly easier to control my fridge than my teenager. So the history of money has taught us really important lessons, and what our responsibilities, I think, collectively are in this new world. I think there are going to be a new set of requirements. We need to think about how to make money secure, seamless, and simple. I'll turn to security first because it's very much on my mind. Data needs to be secure, and systems need to be resilient. We need to be confident that we know how our data is being used. Equally, it's got to be simple. The wonderful thing about coins or paper money was that it was simple, and we can learn a lot from that history. And it must be seamless. You must be able to walk from the physical world to the virtual world and back again and still be traced. But most of all, above all these things, consumers must feel in control of their financial lives, and we have to help to enable that. Because the old system of coins in jars, or back pockets, or extra wallets, or people putting their credit cards in freezers, all drops away.
The ecosystem has to be built out by partners getting together and doing their piece, if you like. Mastercard, because it's a big global network, understands about how to move things safely and securely, to tokenize, to have recognition that prevents fraud and so on. Other partners are going to have to work together. Obviously, we connect up all of the banks and all of the retailers and so on. Those partnerships are going to be very vital to making sure that the transactions actually flow properly.
And it's vital that you can scale at speed, right, in this,
scaling at speed is the answer to everything, I think. And if I think about it, say about Netflix, which I think is very cool. The fact that we integrated with Netflix, and Netflix were able to launch across 80 countries simultaneously, and people were able to go in and pay for their streaming services one day to the next. That's fantastic.
In one day. Did it all go smoothly?
In one day. This is not easy stuff to do, but it's possible with today's technology, which is fabulous. And the other thing that Netflix are doing now is, you know how when you've loaded your card into Uber and so on, it's there for a while, and then all of a sudden everything changes because your bank issued you new credentials, and suddenly you have to start reloading. Well, now we've launched our new service with Netflix, which allows that all to happen automatically and seamlessly, and that's going to be absolutely great.
We're talking about a session that has the title of Business Reincarnation, which I guess is all about digital transformation. We see massive digital transformation taking place in China and India, in the African nations, in South America, and yet in Europe and America, I guess because we have so much infrastructure from the last century that we have to upgrade and renovate. An awful lot of what we see as fintech in Europe and America, I think, is actually trying to take the friction out of that legacy infrastructure rather than reinventing or reincarnating the infrastructure. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, again, just give you another data point, if you look at UPI, which is truly an open, payment platform, everybody can plug into it. So your WhatsApp, you go to India, you can start doing P2P just using this open platform. In 18 months, since the launch of UPI, there's been more transactions on UPI than the total number of transactions for all the card networks in 30 years. So that gives you an idea of the scale, but also the acceleration. We don't have this type of legacy, right? What it means also is sometimes you need to, of course, build the whole infrastructure, from scratch. You need to build also the whole suite of services. But the destination, for sure, is also around digital banking. So, you talk a lot about, in your books, about the legacy of all the big banks. You have very successful banks in these markets, right? I think they think the same, on the same lines, really always, serving the top 10% of the market when actually the big opportunity is in the middle of the bell curve. And for that, you need to come up with a completely new playbook, for sure. The technology there, the demand is there, certainly, and I think what is more important is you see the government and the regulator actually pushing dramatically for innovation.
But there's a very big difference between using biometrics for identification, which is kind of scary and spying on people and whatever, and using biometrics for authentication. So when I authenticate myself, with the biometric on the mobile phone. I'm not giving away any personal information.
No, I think that's the big differentiator of our platform. Because most platforms out there, you need to present something, your voice, your biometrics, your fingerprint, or a copy of your passport. You need to give something, and they need to match it. They need to match with the information they have in a database, if it is you.
Okay.
Now, the big difference what we do, we don't, that's why we are so easy to adapt to all the companies, because they don't need to have a security database for us, because we present the identity. We authenticate that it is you. And that's a big difference between all the companies that for every time need to identify you and check with all the data that they have from you.